Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Phatcat, and in this channel we explore the topics of astrology, self-development, spirituality, sound healing and so much more. And today we're going to dive into the topic of Venus in Pisces. What would it mean to have your Venus sign in the zodiac sign of Pisces? And let's get started. Okay, so Venus is the planet of love. Venus is the planet of beauty, aesthetics, planet of relating to liquid money. And Pisces is a mutable water sign. Okay, so it is one of the three water signs, but it is a mutable water sign, which means that it has a very changeable nature, which means that it has a very flowing, free flowing sort of a vibe to it. Okay, and when Venus is in Pisces, it is said to be in an exalted position. What this means is that Venus enjoys being in Pisces. Venus is able to luxuriate. Venus is able to soak up the gentleness and softness that is the Piscean vibe, the Piscean energy. So let's get into what is the Piscean energy. Okay, first of all, today is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day. I felt like it's the right time to make a Venus in Pisces video, because Pisces is one of the most romantic signs of the zodiac. It's one of the most romantic but also unconditionally loving, unconditionally giving. It is one of the most imaginative, healing, wise and spiritually aligned signs of the zodiac. Okay, now when you look at a Pisces, or not look at a Pisces, let's say when you meet a Pisces or even look at a Pisces, it's not so much about words with them. They may not be great with their words, but it's their energy, it's their vibe. Just being around a Pisces, you will feel a sort of warmth emanating from them, a sort of healing energy, a sort of feeling of being understood, or feeling that suddenly there's a space opening up for you where you can actually communicate to them maybe your own problems, your own troubles, and they are always having this very open, they have a very open energy where they will listen to you. And they will listen means, when they listen, it is not like a superficial listening. It's going to be a very deep, a very soft, very gentle listening that is completely accepting, that is completely unconditional, with a lot of sensitivity, so that you really feel accepted and understood. And that is the core of Piscean energy, is that it is like this healer, walking, talking, being healer person or healer vibe, where you completely feel like you can just slip into their waters and be embraced by them. Okay, and the love language for a Pisces is generally to do with touch. Okay, they are very sensual, they're very luxurious, they can even have tendencies of laziness. So the energy is very soft, very luxurious, very sensual, very intuitive. And the way they show love, and the way they like to receive love as well, is through caresses, through strokes, through kisses, through hugs, a lot of touching, a lot of feeling, and the way they go about their life is usually through feeling. Okay, so unlike, let's say, any of the earth signs, but especially like a Capricornian energy or a Taurian energy, they are not obsessed with planning so much for the future, or being like, this is how I want my life in the next 5 years, this is where I'm headed for. They are more feeling into the situation and going with the flow of that situation, and allowing the tides of life to take them on that mystical, magical journey. So this is where the spiritual nature of the Pisces also comes out, is that they are so tuned into the rhythms of life, the motions of life, the tides, the changing tides, that they're able to very easily maneuver the ups and downs of life and take all of it in their stride. And this is when I'm talking about this, it comes to the balanced Pisces energy is able to do that very well. Right, they are very well able to kind of mutate, to adapt. Again, with an imbalanced Pisces, this can lead to even a sort of situation where they feel like they are the victim or they are the martyr. They're always suffering, the whole world's woes are on their shoulders. We'll get into that soon. So when you have Venus in Pisces, okay, this is an exalted position, so there's a lot of love, there's a lot of romantic energy in the air, there's a lot of bliss, there's a lot of unbounded loving energy. So that loving energy is very generous, it's very free flowing, it's there for everybody to share in. That's what happens when Venus is in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by two planets, okay, that's Jupiter and Neptune. Okay, and Jupiter brings the energy of expansion, higher knowledge, wisdom, abundance, prosperity. And Neptune brings the energy of imagination, intuition, dream world, metaphysics, spirituality. So with that kind of combination that Pisces has, they are very lucky in general. Venus in Pisces native is very lucky in general because they are blessed by Jupiter and they're also blessed by Neptune, in the sense that because of the Neptunian energy, which means they are always daydreaming, they have a lot of imagination, their imagination is very rich, very potent, and they're always they are very invested in their dreams, in their daydreams, whether it's sleep time, whether it's waking time. And because of that energy, they are able to manifest their dreams very effortlessly because of that flow state that they're in. So this manifestation doesn't come because they're being forceful or super organized or a super planner. In fact, it comes because of the opposite nature of them being very open to change, not being fixed, not being rigid, allowing things to flow for them, and with the blessing of Jupiter. So as a result of this, a Venus in Pisces is usually very blessed when it comes to money, when it comes to being rich, when it comes to having their needs met, especially their physical needs met. It's always being met for them without too much work or too much effort on their side. Okay, now a Venus in Pisces can also be very moody. Okay, they can also, because as I said, they are very mutable and they go through these ups and downs. Sometimes the ups can be very beautiful and you are kind of bathing in that energy, in the afterglow that they provide for you. But then the downs can also be there where they're feeling very moody, they're feeling off. So you kind of come in contact with both the ups and downs when it comes to a Venus in Pisces, and to accept those ups and downs. A Venus in Pisces goes with the flow. Okay, they are not obsessed with they are not about having things a certain way. They haven't made up their mind before they meet somebody that, okay, this is the person that I'm going to do this business with, or this is the person I'm going to marry. Not at all. In fact, they are going to feel out every situation. It's going to be hard for them to commit to you when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, because they're still feeling you out. They need time to really feel you out, to interact with you, to spend time with you, to feel your energy and see if that energy of yours and their energy flows together. And it's all about the flow. If they feel like there's any force on either side, it may not work very well for you, it may not work very well for them. Because of their free-flowing, rather vague and nebulous nature, this could be a clash when it comes to a sign that has a lot more of a fixed or rigid nature. On the other hand, a Venus in Pisces can also learn a lot from a sign like a Venus in Capricorn or a Venus in Taurus, because they have that energy that can ground the Venus in Pisces, kind of ground the daydreams into the reality, and do the more mundane side of things, which a Venus in Pisces is not interested. Now, Venus in Pisces always has their head up in the clouds. They're always dreaming, and those dreams are also so-called manifesting for them, so they continue just dreaming their life into existence. And there's that very magical, mystical quality about them that you just sense being around them. Okay, now what else about a Venus in Pisces? Venus in Pisces, they love being there for you. Okay, Venus in Pisces loves saving people, loves holding space for people. They are the ultimate healers and givers of the zodiac, as I said. So they actually relish holding space for somebody else. They relish listening to somebody else's troubles and being like this helpful shoulder to cry on for someone else. They are very generous spirited, and they are very understanding without judgment. So they're not judgmental, they're very understanding, and they accept you as you are, which means that they can make excellent friends as well as excellent lovers. Venus in Pisces, because of the mutable nature, they are also very adaptable. So they are not really it's not about having high standards for them, and it's not about having their needs met constantly. A lot of the times Venus in Pisces will give more than their partner and won't even think about it, because for them love is this unconditional thing. There is so much of love that can be given and received that for them because they know that, because they're so spiritually connected to that energy of love, they don't really measure and calculate too much, and they are extremely giving and generous partners. And they are also able to be flexible. So let's say they are going out of the fixed sign, they're quite flexible to the whims and fancies of the fixed sign, because they don't mind changing things up, they don't mind changing their plans around. In fact, they enjoy doing that. So in that sense, I would say this is the thing where I feel like actually a Pisces just, and you know that Pisces energy is in me, which is why I'm finding it so hard to use words right now. It's all about the feeling, and usually I'm more of a wordy person, but it's so hard for me to, even pin their energy down. As you can see, I'm moving around in circles, and I feel like my head is in the clouds. That's how their energy is. There's also a vagueness, a lack of commitment, a lack of certainty to their energy, which can be kind of difficult for their partner if the partner has very fixed notions of what they want, in life, or what they need in exchange and stuff. As a Venus in Pisces will show you a whole another world of existence, a whole another way of being. And as I said, they are not about the words, it's more about the presence. They thrive in the silence of the feelings that can be exchanged between the two souls when it comes to love. Okay. On the other hand, unlike a Venus in Scorpio, a Venus in Pisces is not, it's not dark. The energy is not so dark, it's not so heavy, and it's not so transformational in the sense that a Scorpio energy would be. Okay. A Venus in Pisces is a lot more light-hearted. Okay. It's going to be a lot more romantic. They see the world through rose-colored glasses. So sometimes the Venus in Pisces has the tendency to fantasize about people, and that's an illusion that they're creating, right? They fall for somebody based on the fantasy that they have of that person, and turns out the person is not that, right? So what they do is, because of the rose colored glasses they have, because of their idealism, they look at somebody and they see what that person could be. They see the potential power, or the potential talents and skills, or the potential loving ability of that person, which that person is not really embodying in the present moment. And this is where the Venus in Pisces can get the short end of the stick, right, without realizing it, because they are loving you based on the fantasy that they have of you, and they're not really loving you for who you are, because they don't even realize they're doing it. So this is a shadow side for a Venus in Pisces to be careful of, that they don't drown in these fantasies and delusions of what somebody could be, what somebody and base that for their life upon their experience with that person, the interaction with that person. They have to, this is where that groundedness of the earth energies can really help them to be practical, to be solid, to draw the boundaries that are necessary, to have those boundaries of this is me and this is you. Because again, the energy of Pisces, there is no boundaries, there are no boundaries. They will go with the flow wherever life takes them. And this also makes them often polygamous partners. So this is another thing about Venus in Pisces. The inclination for a Venus in Pisces can often be to love multiple people, because they have so much love to offer, and they're able to appreciate the beauty of so many different people. So it would be hard for them to kind of fix themselves with one person, settle down with that one person, and they offer this sensitivity to everybody, anybody and everybody who comes in contact with them. So it's easy for others to also fall for them, because they feel that, oh, this person just understands me, like they're so sensitive, they get me. And on the other hand, Venus in Pisces is giving that energy to everyone, because that's their nature. So that's where I would say that, if you are in love with a Venus in Pisces, make sure you're comfortable with them being that way with everybody, because their energy is like that. Okay, they are unconditionally loving, and they're not going to just give you that special love, but they're going to give you a lot of love, but they may also be giving that love to other people, and that's something you would have to accept. Eventually, of course, they may settle down, they may get committed. This is of course the case with a lot of Venus in Pisces, but I'm talking about the general nature is to explore, to go with the flow, and to interact with all sorts of different energies. Okay, so that is going to be there. Okay, so what else can we say about Venus in Pisces? Okay, Venus in Pisces, they will do very well in the field of the arts. So any expression of arts like poetry, okay, drawing, illustration, painting, it could be even singing for that matter. Okay, they're going to be very good at the arts, especially I would say poetry and painting and stuff, because they're so intuitive. Whatever art they need to put on the paper, or they need to bring out into poetry, onto the paper, it just comes to them. It's almost they're getting these downloads from the ethers, they're getting downloads from their dreams and from the metaphysical realm, and they're just allowing all that to flow out through their hands or through their voice. So it's almost like their gift is so otherworldly. They are becoming vessels for that gift to flow through them, and this is why they are naturally good at the arts, naturally good at expressing themselves through the arts, where their imagination can kind of be unfettered and it can roam wild and free like the way they are. Okay, now I'd also say that Venus in Pisces, their passion, they can also be very passionate about anything to do with body touch, sensuality. So sensual massages, acupuncture, they would be great therapists, they could be great acupuncturists, massage therapists, anything to do with any form of therapy, I would say, any kind of healing arts also Venus in Pisces would do wonderfully. They are natural healers and natural conduits for healing. Okay, so that is what I would say. And what else can we say about Venus in Pisces? Okay, now Venus in Pisces, some of the other shadow sides is they may stretch the truth, because they themselves have this very ambiguous way of going about life. They may not understand your own your need for some sort of black and white yes and no. Okay, they are embodying all the colors of the rainbow, the entire spectrum. They're hopping from one color of the spectrum to another. So for them, truth is very mutable as well. Okay, they don't see truth as like a hard fact, as a lot of other people may, which means that they are prone to white lies or stretching the truth. And you might find that frustrating if you have a partner who is a Venus in Pisces, because for them, they're not able to, you won't be able to pin them down, you won't be able to get the exact words that you need or want from them, because they don't believe in those exact words. They are just being and flowing. So it's going to be very hard for you to do that. And another shadow trait of Venus in Pisces is that they can be escapists. So they can be prone to addictions, indulgences, too many drugs, too much smoking, too much drinking, even sex it could be. So because they have this big imagination and they're so fantasy oriented, they can drown themselves in these fantasies that alcohol can provide for them, or that drugs can bring for them. And this is the shadow trait that has to be balanced for a Venus in Pisces. And a balanced Venus in Pisces knows what their boundaries are, knows when to say yes, when to say no, knows when to step back, knows when the other person is taking too much from them, knows when to stop giving so much, knows when to ask for their needs to be met. Okay, and that is hard for a Venus in Pisces. Venus in Pisces almost enjoys suffering as a martyr or as a victim. They have this story that they're telling themselves that, oh, I'm the one who's suffering, and everyone fucks me over, and or it could be the other way around, like, I'm always carrying everybody's secrets and everybody's troubles on my shoulders, and that's my life. And this is a negative side of Venus in Pisces, something they have to grow out of in order to evolve, is to understand that this is just a story that they're telling themselves, that they are some sort of victim or martyr. They are neither. They are natural healers, which means they also have to take certain precautions to cleanse their own aura, to cleanse their energy from too much outside influence. Look at this, my words are just all over the place when it comes to Venus in Pisces. It's really all over the place. So they really need to know, they need to learn to draw good boundaries. They need to understand that, yes, because they're empaths, they have certain needs and they can get easily drained, or they can feel like the victim, or they can feel like they always get the shorter end of the stick, and take concrete practical actions to stop that happening towards them. Because that's happening because they're allowing it, because they're almost enjoying the pain of that story that they're telling themselves. Okay, that is something they have to work on. And Venus in Pisces, so they can be escapists, they can be a little irresponsible, they don't want to deal with the mundane facts of life, the so-called harsh realities of life. And that means that they might sometimes ignore paperwork and the daily things that need to be done, which may seem boring for them. And that's something, again, a mature Venus in Pisces has to learn to balance between the practical world and the dream world. it can't be such an imbalance of them always having their head in the clouds. So grounding is very important for a Venus in Pisces. Grounding practices like walking barefoot, meditating, imagining a black ball or a red ball at the base of their spine, imagining roots coming out from the base of their spine during meditation, cooking, there are a lot of things that they can do to ground. And I think grounding is very important for a Venus in Pisces because they have such a otherworldly tendency in general. Okay, so that is it, I guess, for this video, Venus in Pisces. Now if you have a Venus in Pisces partner, you like somebody Venus in Pisces, I would say in general you are blessed, because they are blessed. And just make sure you treat them with as much gentleness and sensitivity as they do. Okay, because they don't expect much from you. All you have to do is be sensitive to their needs and give them the warmth that they are giving you. They really don't have that many requirements from you. They don't expect anything from you. Just appreciate that unconditional love that is pouring out from them. And also be open to the changes that they can bring, because of their changeable, flowing nature. If you are very rigid or you are very fixed in nature, it might be very hard for you to you may lose your temper a lot with them. And they're not even going to lose their temper with you, because that's not even going to affect them. They probably want to listen to you and be like, what happened to you, can we do something about it? And I think honestly, this is Pisces is one of my favorite signs as well. And Venus in Pisces is just an incredible lover. Okay, just an incredible lover. And this applies to males and females. I have noticed, I have met some Pisces men. Venus in Pisces, I haven't found any Venus in Pisces man yet, but I have met Pisces men. And what I can say is Pisces men are incredibly loving. They're very gentle, they're very soft, and it's a blessing to have men like that. Because having all these macho men, it can get really tiresome and frustrating sometimes. And to have this beautiful Piscean energy flowing through males, through the masculine essence, and then giving it that touch of femininity and sensitivity is so beautiful. And I really appreciate the Piscean energy in general. So happy Valentine's Day again, and here's to all of us loving ourselves first.